Okay, today we're going over 1.7 solving inequality. So inequality is inequalities. Solving inequalities. Okay, first of all, what is the meaning of inequalities? Anyone know what is the idea for inequality? Yes, go ahead, Anta.
I think is about it's like an equation, but instead of the equal sign, it's with the less than, greater than, or equals that sign.
Yeah, this is correct. So it's exactly look like an equation, but instead of the equal sign, we're going to replace it by like smaller than, greater than, less than or equal, greater than or equal. We go over the equation before, so I'm going to stop accepting any student come to the class. Hold on 1 second. Okay, so for the student who come before 9:02, here's the link. This is the link for the attendance. Okay, let's go over for the solving inequality. So inequality, like Anta said, it's look like an equation, but instead of an equal sign, we're going to replace it by like small, greater than, smaller than or equal, or greater than or equal. Anyone has any different idea about inequality? What is the meaning of inequality? In high school or outside? How many solution inequality has? Also, the sign can change. Here's Anta said also the sign can change. Yes, this is correct. But what do you mean exactly for the sign? Can you explain more for the student?
Um, if it's a I don't remember exactly, but I remember in high
Uh,
school if it's a negative,
okay,
the sign change.
the sign for the, like, what do you mean for the sign? The symbols?
Yeah, the symbol of the yes.
Okay. Here's also Natasha said when it's negative, you change the sign. Do you mean like, what do you mean exactly for negative? When you multiply or when we add like something like that, Natasha?
Oh no, when you divide by x.
What about if we multiply? When you divide or multiply by negative number, this is correct. We change, Bilal said when we divide or multiply by a negative number, we're going to change the symbol. Okay. So I'm going to give, like, we talk a little bit about inequality. We get the idea. It's like look like an equation, but instead of the equation, the equal sign, we're going to replace it by smaller than or equal, or less than or equal or greater than or equal. So we're going to start this here by example for an inequality. For example for inequality, 4x plus 7 less than or equal 19, less than or equal 19. So here less than or equal 19, here less than or equal something like that. I'll make it more properly like this. So this is an inequality because it's look like an equation. Look, 4x plus 7 less than or equal 19 look like an equation, but instead of the equal sign, we replace it like smaller than or equal or greater than or equal. So here less than or equal 19, here less than or equal 19. Okay, which number satisfy this inequality? This is the question. So here we're going to make a like small table like this, take a variable for x, and also we're going to plug it inside this inequality. So here is x, and here is we have 4x plus 7 less than or equal 19. I'm going to choose like random points, for example, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, who will plug number 1 inside the inequality? When I plug number 1 inside the inequality, what I get here? When I plug the 1 inside this inequality, Amar said I'm going to get 11 here, less than or equal 19. What about number 2? When I plug number 2 inside this inequality, what I'm going to get? It's 15. Yeah, this is correct because 4 times 2 is 8 plus 7 is 15. 15 is less than or equal 19. What about if I plug number 3 inside this inequality? What I'm gonna get? 19. This is correct because 3 times 4 is 12 plus 7 is 19. So 19 less than or equal 19. What about the 4? If I plug the 4 inside this inequality, I will get 23 because, yeah, this is correct, Ryan. 4 times 4 is 16 plus 7 is 23. So 23 less than or equal 19. What about the 5? The last one? Natasha said it's 17. This is correct. 27, sorry, 27 because 5 times 4 is 20 plus 7 is 27. 27 less than or equal 19. Okay, the question is now, starting from number 1 here. Number 1 here. Is the 11 less than or equal 19? Is this is correct here? Is the 11 less than or yes? Ryan said yes, this is correct because the 11 is less than or equal 19. What about so the x equal 1 is satisfying this inequality. So when I plug the 1, will satisfy this inequality. What about when x equal 2? They give me this inequality. This is correct, 15 less than or equal 19. Yes, Burma said yes, this is correct because the 15 is less than or equal 19. What about 3? So when x equal 2, satisfying this inequality. What about when x equal 3? They give me 19 less than or equal 19. Natasha, what about this one? Is 19 less than or equal 19? Yes, this is correct. So when x equal 3, also this is satisfying this inequality. What about here? When x equal 4, I get 23 less than or equal 19. No, Ryan said no. This is, so when x equal 4 is not satisfying this inequality. So x equal 4 is not satisfying this inequality. What about x equal 5, 27 less than or equal 19? Ryan? No, this is not correct. 27 is not less than or equal 19. So as I look into this table, I see all the solution is like any number less than 3. So all, I mean like all numbers satisfying this inequality, any number less than or equal 3. So when x equal 3 satisfying this inequality, x equal 2 satisfying this inequality, I mean satisfying this inequality that make the inequality correct like this. When x equal 1 also satisfying this inequality, and any number less than 1 also, when I plug it inside this equality, they will give the inequality correct. They will give me like they satisfy this inequality. So here I can say the numbers that satisfying or satisfy this inequality is all numbers less than or equal 3, is x less than or equal 3. All numbers less than or equal 3 satisfying this inequality. So I can plug any numbers from 3 and less. Is it clear what we said here? Any question? Any question for this? No questions. What about the other student? Why did you add the or equal when the original equation was only less than? What do you mean for Natasha? What do you mean for your question? Why did you add the or equal when the original equation was only less than? The equation is less than or equal here. The equation here is less than or equal, Natasha. So, oh yeah, you asked me why the x equal 3, because here less than or equal. So here I mean 19 less than or equal 19. This is correct. So 19 actually is equal to 19. So the x equal 3 is satisfying this inequality. That's why I bought the 3 as number of satisfying this inequality. Okay, Natasha? Okay, got it. Now, we have some rules for the inequality, the rules. Some rules. So we have some rules for inequality. The first one here, number 1, rule number 1. If I have inequality of the form A less than or equal B, so if I want to add the same quantity to the both side of this inequality, for example, I want to add like C for both side of this inequality, I'm gonna get like an equivalent inequality to this, such that it's look like something like that. Here, A, so I'm going to get an equivalent inequality for this. So look like A plus C is less than or equal B plus C. This is the first rule. So when I add the same quantity to the both sides of the inequality, I'm gonna get an equivalent inequality look like A plus C less than or equal B plus C. Rule number 2, the same idea, but instead of greater than, instead of we adding, we're going to subtract. So A less than or equal B. If I wanna subtract the same quantity to the both sides of this inequality, I'm going to get an equivalent inequality look like A minus C, A minus C less than or equal B minus C. And so this inequality, it's equivalent to this one when I subtract the same number for both sides. In the rule number 3 said, if I have a positive number, if C, this, like I'm going to choose a C as a number, this C is positive number C, this C is greater than 0, I mean like it's a positive, then I have an inequality, it's A less than or equal B, and I would like to multiply this inequality by this positive number. I'm gonna get like an equivalent inequality. This equivalent is A, I mean C, I mean like I want to multiply both sides by this positive number. I'm gonna get C times A less than C times A less than or equal C times B. C times b. So look here, the sign for the inequality does not change when I multiply by positive number. Like we starting this lecture, some students said we're going to change the symbol, but in this we did not change the symbol for this inequality because the number is positive. But now if I take the number is negative, for example, if my c, the c number is negative, c is less than 0, so then I have an inequality look like a less than or equal b, and I would like to multiply this inequality by this negative number. So here in this one, the symbol for the less than or equal will be changed to greater than or equal. So here I'm going to get c times a. Here instead of less than or equal, the direction for this is going to change, so it will be like greater than or equal. So this will be changed to greater than or equal because the number is negative. So here I get CA times CB. Now, rule number 5 said if I have if my A is greater than 0 and also B is greater than 0 and B is greater than 0, so then I have inequality A less than or equal B. Now, if I take the reciprocal for this inequality, the direct of the symbol is gonna change also. The direction for this will be changed, like it will be 1 over A. If I take the reciprocal, 1 over A will be greater than 1 over B. Also, we change the symbol from less than or equal to greater than or equal for number 5 too, if I take the reciprocal for both sides. Now, number 6, if this is for adding inequality, if I have, for example, A, this inequality less than or equal B, and I have another inequality, and C less than or equal D, then if I want to add both like if I want to add both this inequality, I'm going to get A, the first one, plus C, A plus C less than or equal B plus D, B plus D. This is like adding inequality, B plus D. Now, number 7, the last one is if the last one said if I have it's the transitive. If I have inequality A less than or equal B, and I have another inequality B, this B I mean, less than or equal D, then the transitive is said A less than D. A will be less than or equal D. Okay, so this is called transitive here. Here transitive. Any question for this rules from 1 to 7? Are all of them clear for you? Any question for this rules from 1 to 7? So again, when we add same number for both, same quantity to the both side of the inequality, when we subtract the same number of an inequality, when we multiply by positive number to the both side of the inequality, when we multiply by the negative number for both sides of the inequality, here if we take the reciprocal also here, and the number 6, if we want to add two inequality, and number 7 is the transitive, if A less than or equal B, and also B is less than or equal D, so the transitive A less than or equal D. This is rules, we're going to use it for solving the inequality. For solving the inequality, we're going to use it a lot for solving in the inequality. So now solving, we're going to start for the first type is solving linear inequality or inequalities. What do you mean of linear? Anyone has the idea about linear? Like we talked about linear equation before. Any idea what is the mean of linear? Like, do you remember what's the mean of linear equation or linear in general? Natasha, Ryan, any idea what is the mean of linear equation or linear in general? Natasha said like y equal mx plus b. This is like a linear equation. This is like correct. What about the power for this linear? What is the highest power for the linear in general? What is the highest power for linear? Like, I mean, like for the, yes, this is what, correct. Like what is, like if the variable inside the equation, what is the highest power for like inside for the variable in the equation? 2 will be not a linear. Amar said 1. This is correct because 2 will not be a linear, will be like quadratic. Layla said like look like a line. This is correct too. Here I can say like a general idea. I'm not giving like the definition here. I can say if I see the highest power for the variable is 1, so I can say is linear. The equation is linear. Numbers also I can say is a linear because constant. Like constant, the constant, like I said before, is actually is x to the power 0 times for example 2x to the power 0. It is also a linear because so the constant in general is a linear because the highest power here also x to the power 0 is 1, so here's 2 times 1 equal 2. This is also, I said, linear before. So it's like constant, or like if with terms has variable, the power has raised to the highest power is 1. So here I can say the highest power of the variable in the equation or in the inequality is 1. The highest power here is 1. For example, if I want to give you example for solving, I'm going to start solving the linear inequality by giving example, and I'm going to explain it step by step. So if I have, for example, 3x minus 4 less than or equal 11x. So my question is 3x, solve the linear inequality. 3x minus 4x less than or equal. Here I'm going to put the without the equal. It's a 3x minus 4 less than 11x. And after you solve it, sketch the solution set. This is the question, the first things we have to know how to solve a linear equation. So solve the linear inequality. Solving the linear inequality 3x minus 4 less than or less than 11x, and sketch the solution. So we have some steps for solving a linear inequality. First of all, we have to move all the variable to one side and the other number and the numbers to the other side. So here's the idea. We have to move all variables like 11x, it's a variables here, variables, moving all variables to one side and the numbers, here's I have number, for example, to the other side. So how we can solving any, who will do this one? Who will start doing the idea? What we should to do here? Here I have 3x minus 4 less than 11x. We have to here Michael said subtract 3x both sides. So here I'm going to subtract, this is correct, subtract the 3x from both sides minus 3x. So here 3x minus 3x will cancel out 0. Now I will get minus 4 less than 11x minus 3x. Now simplify this side, 11x minus 3x, what I'm gonna get? How can I simplify as we learned in the previous section? 8x, yes, this is correct. We subtract only the coefficient of the variables. 11 minus 3 is 8 and we put the x. Now what we should to do, how we can find the value? Michael said divide by 8. This is correct too. We have to divide both sides by the number by the coefficient of x. So we divide both sides by 8. So if I divide by 8, divide by 8. Now the 8 with the 8, they will cancel out. What I get now after this, what I get now? Answer simplify to minus 1/2 less than x. This is correct. So now the step is minus, we can simplify this minus 4 over 8 by dividing both sides by 4. I get minus 1/2 over 1 over 2 less than x. Or I can like change the direction for this. I can say x is greater than minus 1/2. I just change the direction. X is greater than minus 1/2. Okay, so this is the solution for this inequality. If I plug any number, this is mean, if I plug any number greater than minus 1/2 inside this inequality, will be a solution, will be correct. So pick any number greater than minus 1/2. Give me any number greater than minus 1/2. 1, Aziza said 1. So if I want to plug the 1 inside this inequality, what I'm gonna get? Let's plug the 1 inside this inequality. X equal 1. What I'm gonna get? 3 times 1. Who will do it? Bamila said 0. So let's do it together. 3 times 1 is 3 minus 4. 3 minus 1 minus 4 is 3 times 1 minus 4 less than here 11 times 1. 11 times 1. Now 3 times 1 is 3 minus 4 is minus 1. Yes, exactly, Bamila. It's minus 1 less than what? 11 times 1 is 11. And this is correct. Minus 1 less than minus 1 is a less than 11. So this is also correct. So this is satisfying to be a solution for this inequality. If I pick any greater number, if I pick any number greater than minus 1/2, it will be like a solution for this inequality. So I can check by like choosing any number greater than minus 1/2. So some student pick x equal 1 and I plug it inside this inequality and they give me a correct statement. Minus 1 is less than 11. Now let's pick any number is less than minus 1/2 to check this solution will not satisfy this inequality. Let's pick any number less than, less than minus 1/2. Can you pick any number less than minus 1/2? Minus 1, Natasha said. Yes, let's check. So I will see here it not satisfy when I pick when I plug the -1. So let's do it. So 3, okay, Natasha, can you do it? 3 times what? Can you do it? Three times what? Just plug your number. Yes, he said -7. Okay, let's do it step by step. 3 times -1 -4 less than 11 times -1. Okay, so what I get here, 3 times 1 -1 is -7 less than -11. Is it correct? Is the -7 less than the -11? Is the -7 less? It's not. Yes, so the question not satisfy any numbers less than -1/2. So by this number, I can check my solution. So I can pick any number greater than -1/2 and plug it to check the solution. Also, if I pick any number less than -1/2, they will not satisfy this inequality. So here is will not be a solution when I pick x equal -1. Now, the second part of this question in this example said sketch the solution set. Okay, so to sketch now, before we sketch, I have to give you the solution set here. I can say, so the solution set, so solution set is any number greater than -1/2. So it's gonna be like -1/2 to infinity. All numbers will satisfy this inequality, will be correct if I plug it inside the inequality. Now, to sketch this, to sketch the solution, we have to draw the real line like this. And we have to put the point -1/2 on this line and with open circle. So here we have to put it with open circle like this, -1/2. Why open circle? Because here we don't have the equal. This is not satisfy this inequality. The -1/2 does not satisfying this inequality. If I plug it, this inequality will not satisfy because we don't have the equal sign. Because the equal sign is not available in this inequality. Here we have less than only. So here's the -1/2 is open circle and all numbers is greater than -1/2. So I can draw an arrow like this and I say this is my solution for this inequality. Any question for this one? It is clear how we can graph sketch the solution set on the real line numbers. Yes, it is clear. Okay, any other student has any question? Is it clear for you? Aziza, it's clear? And the
Yeah.
other? Okay. So we have another example here, example 2. We're going to learn something is called simultaneous inequality. Solve the simultaneous LTNE inequality. Okay. So, for example, if I have something like this, the simultaneous means if I have inequality, this inequality look like 3x, like solve. The question is here, solve. Solve. But here solve. The solution is 3x minus 2 less than 13 and greater than or equal 4. So in this is called simultaneous because I have two symbols of the inequality. I have in front of the equation, like in front here, I have two, one here and the other one is here. So my goal here in this one, I have to simplify it step by step until I get x between two numbers. Number here and here is a number. This is my goal for solving simultaneous inequality. So I have to subtract, divide, doing everything to make the variable x clear without does not have any number in front or behind. So how we can do something like this? What is the steps for doing something like this? What is the first step to do uh, to solve something like this? Any idea? 3x minus 2. What we should to do to make here x less than between two numbers, less than or equal here and less than here. Less than, like x is greater than or equal, here x less than number. Subtract 2. If I subtract 2 will not work. Yeah, adding 2, exactly. Ryan said adding 2 for both the 4 and 13. This is correct. We have to add the number 4 because 2, I mean, to cancel the minus 2. So I'm going to do it here, step by step here. 3x minus 2 between 4 and 13. I mean add 2, Natasha. Okay, it's fine. So here we have to add 2 for both sides, for all sides, I mean. So when I add 2, this will cancel out here. The 2 will cancel out, exactly. So now I get what? 3x. I will get 3x between the 6, because 4 plus 2 is 6, and 13 plus 2 is 15. Now, what I should to do here? Divide by 3 or multiplying all sides by the reciprocal of 3. What is the reciprocal for 3? What's the reciprocal? 1 over 3. This is correct. So we have to multiply this by 1 over 3, multiply by 1 over 3, multiply by 1 over 3. Here the reciprocal is positive, so this is mean we don't have to change the symbols of the inequality. So it's positive. You see the positive? So here I get x less than 15 over 3 is, what is 15 over 3 or 15 times 1 over 3? So 15 times 1 over 3, I get what? 15 over 3, and this is equal 5. This is correct, Natasha and Pamela. So here x less than 5 greater than what? 6 times 1 over 3, what I get? 6 over 3. And when we simplify it, 2, Natasha, this is correct. Pamela, this is correct too. And Ryan, correct, is 2. So here the solution is between x is greater than or equal to and less than or 5. So the solution for this is any number between the 2 and the 2 is inside and 5. The 5 is not a solution for this inequality. So I can say here the solution set is close interval for 2, 5. It's clear? Here I get a private message. Can you go back? Yes, I will go back to the previous slide. Here, any question before I go back to the previous slide? Is it clear how we can solve simultaneous inequality? Okay, so here I get the x. Yes, could you sketch the solution? No, I cannot sketch the solution. What do you mean sketch? Can I sketch the solution? Yes, I can. So I draw like a line. Here's my real line. This is my real line. At 2, is it closed or open? Anta? At 2, is it
It will be
closed?
close.
Exactly, will be closed. Why? Why it's closed? Because what?
Because of the equal sign.
Yes, the equal sign. So at 2 will be closed like this. This is my 2. What about 5?
It will be an open
Open.
circle.
Exactly. And I have to draw a line between this two point like this. So this is the sketch for this solution. Is it clear, Anta?
Yes.
Okay. Any other question for this simultaneous inequality? Okay, some student asked me to go back. Here you go. Jennifer. Okay, it's clear. Okay, for this, do you need this, Jennifer, too? Or anyone need this slide? Done. What about the others? Other student? Done? Okay. So now we're going over solving a non-linear inequality. Different type of inequality is non-linear inequality. So solving non-linear inequality. Inequalities. Okay. The same idea, the same question. What is the meaning of for here for the non-linear? This is mean the power here, the highest power will not be equal 1. It's not like before. Before was linear, the highest power was equal 1, but for the non-linear, the highest power for the variable will not equal 1. So here, the non-linear, the highest power for the variables is greater than 1. So here we have some steps. So the steps for solving non-linear inequality, first one, we have to move all terms to one side of the inequality. Second step, we have to factor the nonlinear inequality, and we have to find the zeros. Step number 3, we should to find the sign. Like for the sign, is it positive or negative? Positive, comma, negative, like this, here or. Step number 4, this is 3. Okay, number 4 is how to, the last step is solving. We have to solve the inequality. So this is the step for any non-linear inequality. So I'm going to give you an example, and during the example, we're going to solve, but we're going to solve it by using the steps. So the question now, solve here example, solve x squared plus minus 5x plus 6 equals 0. First of all, Is it a linear inequality? I mean here, sorry, is not less than. We're using is less than or equal 0. First, a question: is it a linear or non-linear inequality? Is it a linear or non? How do you know it is a linear? How do you know it is a linear inequality? Yeah, less than, I'm sorry here, but I want to change it a little bit, -6, yes. The power is greater than 1. Bamila said the power here is greater than 1. What is the highest power here in this inequality? And Natasha said also, Bamila said 2. This is correct. If we look into the variables here inside this inequality, I see here x squared minus 5x less than or equal -6. So the highest power raising to the variable here, if I want to look and check term by term, I see 2. So this is the highest power in this inequality. So this means it is a non-linear inequality. So let's doing the step. So the first, to solve this inequality, I'm going to use the steps here. So the first step said we have to move all terms to one side. So what we should to do here in this inequality? Any idea how, what is the, like the, how can I apply the first step? What we should to do here? How can I move all, move all terms to one side, add 6 to the other side? This is correct. So if I add 6 to the both side, I add 6 here, I add 6. This what will have here, -6 plus 6 will cancel out. They will give me 0. So this is 0 here. So now I'm going to get x squared minus 5x plus 6 less than or equal 0. This is the first step. I have to move everything to one side and the other side should be 0, like this. So this is the first step, done. Step number 2, factor and find the zeros. So I should, to catch this one, I have to hide the inequality like this. I have to hide this inequality like this. And I have to factor this one, and I have to find the zeros. I should to make it like equal 0. Again, I have to hide the inequality like this. Then I have to I have to factor this one. Then I should to make it equal 0 to find the zeros. Okay, what is the factor? Here I get from Bamila x minus 3, x minus 2 when you factor. This is correct. Actually, I'm looking for two numbers. The multiplication is positive 6, and the subtraction between these two numbers is -5. So -3 times -2 is give me positive 6, and -3 plus -2, they will give me -5. This is correct, Bamila. So here x minus 3, x minus 2. And again, like I said, I have to find the zeros. I mean, like again, I have to hide this inequality. I have to hide the inequality here again, like this, and I have to make it equal 0 to find the zeros. Okay, so I mean equal, I make it equal 0 to find the zeros. This is second step. What is the 0 for this after factoring? What we should to do here? 3 and 2, Bamila said. This is correct, Bamila, but can you explain what you're doing, which property you use like before? Do you remember the zero product property? So
When,
0, yes, go ahead.
when we do x minus 3 equals 0, and we just add 3 on both sides to get x equals 3, and then similarly to x minus 2 equals 0, we add 2 on both sides and we get x equals 2.
Nice, this is correct. So actually, Pamela's using the zero product property we used before. If I have A times B equals 0, this is equivalent, or if and only if, like we said before, if and only if A equals 0 or B equals 0. A equals 0 or B equal 0. This is again the zero product property. So the same thing here, my A is x minus 3, the first parentheses. My B is x minus 2, the second parentheses. So x minus 3 equals 0 or x minus 2 equal 0. Okay, now we should to add 3 like she said. We add 3 for both sides. And here we have to add 2 for both sides to cancel the 3 for both sides here. So we're adding 3. Now cancel out x equal 3, or this cancel out x equal 2. So I find the zeros, x equal 3 and x equal 2. Now we have to draw, now third step, find the sign. So to find the sign, we have to draw a line like this. I'm going to move to the next slide. So also I'm going to do the step number 3 to find the sign, positive or negative. Abu Bakr, it's fine. Okay. Now the question, now step number 3. Number 3, we have to find the sign. This is mean I have to draw my real line like this. Like this. And I have to put the zeros in this line. What is the zeros? The first 0 is x equal 3, and the second 0 is x equal 2. And the closed circle. So x equal 3 and x equal 2 and x equal 3. Now to find the sign, step number 3, I have to pick any number greater than 3 and plug it inside the equation without the equal. Equation this x squared minus 5x plus 6 to check what is the sign after the 3 and before the 2 and between 2 and 3. So my inequality actually is, let me write it down here again, is x squared. I'm going to do it here, is x squared minus 5x plus 6 less than or equal 0, I think. Less than or equal 0. Okay. So pick any number greater than 3. What number can I pick greater than 3? Can you pick any number greater than 3? 4, 5, 6, exactly. So I'm going to pick the number 4. Here, 4. Plug the 4 inside the inequality without the equal. I mean, like here, just plug it inside this. Just I'm going to hide this thing here. I hide it. Plug it inside this equation. X squared, like 4x, when x here, when x equal 4. So when x equal 4. I plug it here, what I get? 4 squared to antacid 42. Okay, let's check. Let's do it together. 4 square minus 5 times 4 plus 6. 4 square, I get 16 minus 20 plus 6. And here I will get 16 minus 20 is minus 4 plus minus 4 plus 6 is 2. Is 2. Bilal said 2. This is correct. It's not 42. So it is 2. Now, what is the sign for 2? What's the sign for number 2? What is the sign for the number? Is positive or negative? Is positive. Number 2 is positive. So I have to put here positive, positive, positive. For any number greater than 3 will be give me like a positive answer. Bamila, positive. Yeah, this is correct. Any number greater than 3 will give me a positive number. Now let's pick any number greater than 2. Give me any number less than 2. Give me give me any number less than 2. Give me easy number. 1. What about 0 or 0? Yes, 0 is easier. So I'm going to pick the 0. Now plug the 0 inside the inequality, inside the equation. I mean here, x squared minus 5x plus 6. 0 squared minus 5 times 0 plus 6. What I get here? 0 squared is 0. Yes, 6. Natasha said 6. And what is the sign? For positive, yes. So the sign for number 6 will be positive. This is mean all numbers less than 2 also will be positive. Now, pick any number between 2 and 3. 2.5. This is correct. I'm going to take 2.5. But because, so 2.5. But because we don't have a calculator in the exam, what is 2.5 equal as a fraction? Because we cannot use calculator in the exam. What is 2.5 over 2? Yes. So this is 5 over 2. Now, so here I can say this is equal 5 over 2. Now plug it inside the equation, x squared minus 5x plus 6, 5 over 2 square minus 5 times 5 over 2 plus 6. What I get? 5 over 2 square, I have to square everything inside the parentheses. What I get, like we learned before in the previous slides, I mean in previous sections, 5 over 2, everything square. 25, Pamela said 25 over 4. This is correct. So here I get 25 over 4 minus 5 times this fraction. 5 times this, what I get? 5 times 5 is 25 over 2. Yes. Now this plus 6. And because the denominator is different here, actually 6 over 1. We should to make the denominator equal. What we should to multiply this fraction to make all of them, or we have to find the least common denominator like we learned before. What is the least common denominator between 4 and 2 and 1? 4, yes. So what we have to multiply this here by which number to make the denominator equal 4? by 2. So if we multiply this by both sides here by 2 and here by 2, and what we will have to multiply this by 4, this is correct. So here by 4, and this is by 4. Now what I get, 25. Now the denominator is equal for all of fraction. So all of fraction, the same denominator over 4. So here, this is over 4 here. Here I get 25 minus 50. 25 times 2 is 50 minus 50 plus 24. 6 times 4 is 24. Yes, this is correct, Bamila. Now I get 25 minus 50 plus 24 minus 1 over 4. So what is the sign here? Negative. Exactly. So the sign is negative. So we should put here negative, 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 like this. Now we have to go to step number 4. The step number 4, we have to solve. So the question is, when x squared, find the solution for x squared minus 5x plus 6 less than or equal 0. What does that mean? Less than or equal 0? Okay, this is mean, if no one knows, when this solution, give me the solution when this will be negative, or when this has a negative sign. So when this will be negative, in which interval the equation x squared, in which interval the equation x squared minus 5x plus 6 will be negative or 0? Yes, from 2 to 3, here Bamila said from 2 to 3, the equation x squared minus 5x plus 6 will be negative, and 1 will be 0 at 2 and 3. So the solution here, so the last step, number 4, the solution set is the closed interval, because we have to make the 2 inside the solution set, because we have equal from 2 to 3, and also the 3, the same thing. At 2, the equation here would be 0 when we plug the 2, and we plug the 3 would be 0. So the solution set is from the 2 until 3, and we have to close the interval because the 2 and 3 is a solution for this inequality. Makes sense how we solve the inequality? Any question? Is it clear here?
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes, what's your question?
So for the first exam, like on the 27th, I think, are we going to be allowed to use the calculator?
No, you cannot use the calculator. Calculator is not allowed in the exam.
Is that
Okay.
for all of them or just that one?
All of them. All of them.
Oh, okay. Okay, thanks.
Okay. No problem. Another question in this example here, for this example. The steps clear, how you find the solution? No questions. What about the others? Okay. Let's give another example for nonlinear. So example for nonlinear. Example 2. Solve the inequality x times 2x plus 6 greater than or equal 0. So again, we have to follow the steps. This is the steps, the red one. X times 2x plus 6 inside the parentheses. Okay, who will do the first step? Move all terms to one side. That's done. Yes, Natasha, he said that's done. This is correct. All side move to one side and the other side is 0. So the first step is done. Now, second step, factor. Is it factored already or not? Or we have to factor it more? It is factored, some students said, but here we can factor the 2 also inside the parentheses, right? We can take the 2 outside. So for number 2, step number 2, x. So again, for the factor, we have to hide the inequality like this. We have to hide the inequality like this, and we have to factor it. So here, x like times 2, x plus 3. This is the factor for this one. Now, the step inside 2 and find the zeros. What is the 0 for this? We have to make it like equal 0. What is the 0? How we can find the zeros? By using the zero product property. Yes, Natasha said 2x make it equal 0 and what? Or? And it's or is not and, x plus 3 equals 0. So 2x equals 0 or x plus 3 equal 0. No, I don't have to distribute. Ryan said you don't distribute. I don't have to distribute because I need to factor. When I distribute, I will extend it. I will not factor. So it's factored already. Now we have to find the value for x. What is the value for x here? We have to divide both sides by what? By 2. Yes, this is correct. Or multiplying by the reciprocal. What is the reciprocal for 2? Bamila said yes. Bamila said 1/2. This is correct. So I can divide both sides by 2, or I multiply both sides by 1/2. So here, when I divide by 2, I get x equal 0 because this will cancel out. Or what I should to do here to find the value for x? Subtract 3. Tau, this is correct. And Damila, subtract 3 for both sides. So here I will get 0. And now I get x equal minus 3. So the first 0 is x equals 0, and the second 0 is x equal minus 3. Now, third step, find the sign. So I should to draw a line like this. And I have to put the zeros in this line and check. So the first 0 is 0. The first number here, the first x is 0. And the first one is minus 3. Minus 3 and 0. This is 0. So this is minus 3 and this is 0. Now pick any number greater than 0. Pick any number greater than 0. 1. Natasha said 1. Okay, plug it inside this equation. And you have to hide the inequality. 1 here. What is the sign for 1? plug it inside this equation. Go ahead, Natasha. Or inside this one, whatever you need, this one or this one, both of them correct. 1 times 2 times 1 plus 6. Yes, the answer is 8. Yes, this is correct, Pamela. The answer is 8. What is the sign? What's the sign for the 8? Is it positive? This is correct. So the positive sign. Any number greater than 0, the sign should be positive. Now, pick any number between -3 and 0. -2. Yes, -2. Or -1 is easier, right? Let's take -1 is easier. You can take -2 or -1 is easier when you plug it. Okay, for the -1, plug it inside the equation here. Bamila said, I will get, yeah. What's the answer when I plug the -1? Any student, can you solve it? Okay, -4. Okay, so let's do it together. So here -1, here -1 times 2 times -1 plus 6. Now here I get -1 times -2 plus 6 is 4 positive, and -1 times 4 is -4. What is the sign? Is negative, correct. So the sign is negative. So here I get negative, negative, negative. All this interval will be negative. Now, pick any number is less than -3. Tau said -4. This is correct. All of you correct. Is negative, and the answer is -4. So now pick any number is less than -3. Ah, -4. Okay, Tau, he said, okay, let's do it. Take -4. Plug the -4 inside the equation. This equation. Okay, let's do it. -4 times -2 times -4 plus 6. Okay, now -4 outside, the same like before. 2 times -4, it's -8, plus 6 is -2. Now -4 times -2, I get positive 8. So what is the sign here? Tau, this is correct, is 8. Positive, yes. So here, any number is less than -3, the answer will be positive. Now, what is the solution? Now, let's go back. You have to remove this one, and we should to solve number 4. Number 4, solve this one when this is greater than or equal 0. When this is mean in a different way, if you want to read it, when this inequality will be positive or 0. Which interval this inequality will be positive or 0? In which interval? You look into the sign, step number 2, to find the solution. To find the solution for number 4, you have to go back to step number 3. I mean, you have to go back to step number 3. Here's the step number 3. The right interval, starting from which number, Ryan? 0, from 0 to infinity. This is correct. This is the first interval. And what is the second interval? What is the second interval? Just look into the sign here. from minus to minus infinity. Bamila from minus 3, like any number from minus infinity to the number 3, like this. Like any number, all numbers here satisfying this inequality until number minus 3, and all numbers from 0, like Ryan said, goes to infinity. Okay, so the solution for this one, Tao said, I still literally confused that how can you define if the question have already moved all terms to one side? What do you mean for define? Like I said, Tao, we have to hide this inequality like this, and we pick any number greater than 0. Okay, we move all terms to one side. Now you have to check the sign by plugging numbers. So you have to pick any number greater than 0. We pick the 1. We plug it inside the equation by hiding the inequality. And the answer after we plug the 1, we get 8. The sign for the 8 is positive. So we put positives. Same things for the other intervals. We pick the minus 1 between minus 3 and 0. And the answer is minus 4. And the sign, we're looking for the sign only, is negative. And the same things for when we pick like number less than minus 3. So minus 4, I plug it inside the equation, and I get the answer is 8. And the sign for the 8 is positive. Now we have for step number 4, after I get this line, this is important line, they will help me to solve this inequality. I have to remove this box, the blue one, and I have to solve it. The question is x times open parentheses 2x plus 6 greater than or equal 0. This is mean when this inequality will be positive or 0. Just you go back to step number 3 to the line, you're looking where is the interval shows positive, and also which number will be 0. So as we learn, like as we see in step number 2, we found the zeros. The zeros is x equals 0 and x equal minus 3, and would be positive from 0 to infinity, and the 0 is including because equal here, and also will be positive any number is less than minus 3, and also the minus 3 is including because we here the 0 is included inside this inequality. Make sense? Okay, so now we have, okay, thank you. Okay, so for number 4, solve. We have to find the solution, like I said before, go back to the line. When this will be positive here and here. So I'm going to write it down. The solution. Set or interval is from minus infinity goes to number minus 3, and here close because inside union, this is mean and. Union means and from 0 to infinity, from 0 comma infinity, and open parentheses. And if you would like to sketch this, you have to draw the real line like this. Here is my real line, and you have to put the zeros in this one like before. At 0, here is 0 is close because it's including, and the minus 3 is including too, and we have to draw the arrow like this. All numbers less than minus 3 and all numbers greater than 0. So here minus 3 and here is 0. This is the solution sketch for the solution. Makes sense? Any question? Is it clear here? What we did here? Natasha said yes. Yes, it is clear. Okay. The last one is how we can solve a quotient, like a fraction. How we can solve like quotient or fraction inequality. Okay, so the last one, if we did not have enough time, we're going to continue doing this type next time, but we're going to give the important steps how we can solve something like that. Solving inequality with quotient. T-I-E-N-T. Quotient mean fraction. Quotient mean fraction. If we have fraction in the example and inequality fraction look like this, I'm going to give example for this. Like for example, solve the inequality one plus x over 1 minus x greater than or equal 1. So this is like a quotient. Why? Because we have fraction. We have there is some steps. We're going to mention the steps how we can solve something like this. So the steps for this is the same like before, like this steps, but there is some different things. So I'm going to copy steps. Here's the steps here. First of all, we have to move all terms to one side. This is the first step. Second step, we have to find the zeros. We don't have to factor here. Find the zeros. I will show you how we can find the zeros without factoring. Step number 3, we should to find the sign. And step number 4, solving the inequality. So who will do the step number 1, move all terms to one side? What we should to do here? How we can move all terms to one side? Subtract 1 from both sides, Natasha said. Yes, this is correct. So subtract the 1 from both sides. The 1 and the minus 1, they will cancel out. They will give me 0. Because 1 minus 1 is 0. So this is 0. And here in this side, I will get 1 plus x over 1 minus x, everything to minus 1. So second step here. So step 1, I get quotient like this. Minus 1 is greater than or equal of 0. And in this one, I get 1 plus x over 1 minus x. 1 plus x over 1 minus x. Now, to solve a fraction like this, as we learned before, fraction minus number, we have to make the denominator, both of them are equal. So this is actually here, the one is 1 over 1. So like last time we learned how we solve something like that by looking for the least common denominator, or we have to multiply both sides by something by the least common denominator. So how we can make both of the denominator are equal here? What we should to do, or what we should to do to multiply the 1 here and for this fraction, for the second fraction 1 over 1, to make the denominator equal. Pamela said multiply by 1 minus x. This is correct. When we multiply the both side here by 1 of minus x, I would get fraction such that the denominator equal. So here, let's multiplying both side by multiply by 1 minus x, and here by 1 minus x. And here is greater than or equal 0. So I will get two fractions. The first fraction is 1 plus x over 1 minus x. Here I will make it positive, and the minus I will multiply inside the parentheses. So minus 1 times 1 minus x over 1 minus x greater than or equal 0. Now let's distribute the 1 inside the parentheses, or I can now make one fraction because the denominator now for both fraction is equal 1 minus x, and here I have 1 minus x. I can make one fraction like this. Now I get 1 minus x. Why? Because the denominator equal. This is just a review from from previous sections. We did this a lot. So here we have 1 minus x for both fraction. Now we add the numerator for both fraction, 1 plus x. And here the minus 1 we distribute it inside. So minus 1 times 1 is, what is it? Is minus 1. This is correct, Pamela. And minus 1 times x is plus x. Yes, correct. Now we can simplify here. I get 1 and minus 1 and x plus x. 1 minus 1 is 0. They cancel out. Exactly, Pamela. And x plus x is 2x. So here I get 2x over 1 minus x. 1 minus x is greater than or equal 0. So the first step is done. We move everything, we simplify, I get 2x over 1 minus x. Now second step is find the zeros. Okay, we have 1 minute left. Let's find the zeros for the numerator and find the zeros for the denominator, and we're going to stop up to after we're looking for the zeros. So the 0 for 2x is, how we can find the 0? Just make it equal 0. So 2x equals 0. What is the solution? What we have to do, Mamila?
We would have to divide by 2 on both sides.
Yes, so x equals 0. And for the 0 for the denominator is? For 1 minus x is the same step. 1 minus x equals 0. 1 minus x equals 0. So we should to move the x to the other side by adding x for both sides. Now I get 1 equal x. So this is the second 0. Okay, so we're going to stop up to here for today. Next time we're going to do step number 4, sign, and step number 4, 3 and 4. Have a good day, everyone. See you next time.
Have a good day, Professor.
Okay, I'm going to have a good day.